Welcome to Lorehammer, bonus episode.
Hi, Eric.
Oh my god.
Hi,
Welcome to Lorehammer.
Eric.
This is a bonus episode.
Eric.
What?
Hi.
Oh my god. This is a bonus episode. So if you don't care about things that aren't story related, switch us off.
But if you care about me,
Switch us off.
Turn it off, oh god. My name is Eric.
oh yeah,
That's Mark.
This is Jordan.
And joining us once again for the last time,
It's Christian for the last time.
Christian for the last time.
I'm just going to change my name.
Can
how
you
do you keep killing our assassins that we send after you?
don't tell him.
Oh, you
Maybe-
didn't know?
I don't know.
That's where my car exploded.
But today we are going to talk about our hobby and what we are actually doing, our works in progress,
Now,
our babies.
by our hobby, do you mean our hobby,
Yeah.
the royal R, as in mine and Eric's?
It's my hobby.
Or is it Christian's hobby as well?
I allow you guys to join in.
I mean to talk about Lorehammer's hobby, so I guess not Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did we have him here?
I don't know.
Who keeps inviting
I think he
him?
just showed up.
I don't know what Warhammer is, to be honest with you.
You're a Conan guy.
What is a Warhammer?
Well, it's a war and a hammer.
Oh,
Yeah. Does anyone want to start with what they are doing first? Mark, thanks for volunteering.
You're welcome. I totally raised my hand.
So what are you doing right now? What are you working on?
Right now, I jump between a lot of projects constantly.
Well, you have a kind of like an over goal. Like you have a goal that you've been doing for a while.
Yeah, like my goal is madness, and I figure I'm about 95% there.
It's pretty evident too, self-evident.
So yeah, I'm hoping to reach 100% by the end of this week. But so I kind of jump in between a bunch of projects. Like one of my projects is like my Imperial Knight household. Another one is like painting all my 500-point armies that I kind of have as just like demo armies. So when people come over and they don't play, I have all these armies that somebody can kind of.
Do you want to kind of explain what those are?
That was literally what he did, Christian. 500-point demo armies for people who have never played and don't own. They can come over and play them.
But they're
Yeah.
one of every race.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
So I got a Space Marine. I got Imperial.
Yeah,
I
well,
got,
he wasn't done explaining.
Well, Eric, if
So
you
now
stop
I'm-
interrupting him.
I'm at 97% madness. We're one step closer, boys. Yeah, so like I have that project where most of it, I'd say probably like 75% of it is built.
How many of them are completely done?
2.
Which are...
My Demiurge and my Tyranids.
So how many models do you field in a 500-point Demiurge army?
11.
And how many models do you field in a 500-point Tyranid army?
37?
Yeah, that's crazy, hey? The point variance.
No,
and how
more
you
than
did
that,
it.
actually, like 40,
Well,
40 plus.
Demiurge has no rules.
No, but
So what did you use?
they're Space Marine Cataphracti Terminators.
Okay.
Because they move slower, they're heavily armored, they got the 2+ armor save, and they're like just big, bulking, like, yeah.
Juggernauts.
I even
I wouldn't
posted
use the word big for Demiurge, I guess.
No. I posted actually a photo of your Demiurge.
I seen that. And I thought, terrible lighting.
Wow. It doesn't capture the
Okay.
depth of the painting.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm doing that, and then really that's kind of what's been keeping me busy for the last, like,
I mean, it's a lot of armies.
yeah, like, I don't know, there's probably like 20 armies that we have. Because, like, just like with the Demiurge, there's a bunch of other races that me and Christian came up with that, like, there are models for. Like, Mantic Games has, like, rat people. So, like, we're incorporating them in. And they'll use, like, Dark Eldar, like, poison-type weapons and, like... Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, so you're doing things that there aren't necessarily rules for.
Yeah, just to kind of, like, flesh out 40K. Because fucking Space Marines, I've had enough of them.
Yeah,
Like,
it's way too big of a representation in a galaxy that has literally hundreds of other races.
Yeah.
Which we're learning about.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Like right this minute, I just bought a Chaos Terminator box set tonight, and that'll finish off like my true scale Chaos Space Marine army for 500 points.
It is amazing how upset and easily triggered Mark gets when
What the fuck are you talking about?
when it comes to true scale, because you've been on a true scale kick for a long time now.
Years, ever since.
Ever since you found out about it. You've liked it.
Yeah.
But then they released Primaris Marines, which are like the same size as a true scale, but he can't stand Primaris Marines.
I will not give them my money. I will buy $60 box set Terminator legs. Just use the Terminator legs.
Throw the rest into the bits bin.
At least then
Let
my
Christian
money
fight over the bits.
Yeah, then at least my money's going to something worthwhile, not Primaris Marines.
And so all I'll do is like I'll see like his true scales on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, cool, you got Primaris Marines.
Yeah, so
It's the perfect trigger.
Yeah.
He's a little closer to madness that way.
And then the other thing that I do is I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So I just bought some Lord of the Rings guys today too, and
Yeah, you have a couple of those armies on your shelf too.
yeah,
the
currently they're
goblins.
resting in plastic bags, but they will go up on the shelf again eventually.
There's the goblin one.
Not on
Oh,
the shelf.
you took it off.
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, like, and I want to do the similar kind of thing where I collect. I'm not sure what the standard point game is.
Yeah, but you want to you pick a consistent amount and you build an army of
Yeah.
each race around that amount,
Yeah,
or
and
each faction.
I have like 14 good and 14 evil planned. Like,
Jeez,
fucking madness. I have too much free time, too much free money, not enough adult supervision. So
yeah, I can only be at your house like 2 or 3 times a
yeah,
week. Mark.
yeah.
Like,
And the wife doesn't even know the garage exists. Like, she's never been in it. She doesn't even know it's on our property. Like,
He always just says it's the neighbors.
yeah, exactly.
he doesn't even own it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work cut out for you.
It is, but it's like, you know, if I don't die this year, you know, I'll have the rest of my life.
Oh, 27 club.
Or would you
Well-
die in this year?
27 club.
Oh, you're 27?
I'm 28.
Oh, you've already passed it.
Yeah.
You're past your
fine.
prime. You're on the other side.
Well, that's why I'm saying if I don't die this year.
You're on the decline already.
Yeah.
Your life is
Yeah.
declining. Great.
And with me, everything in excess. So I'll either die this year or
Yeah.
I'm going to live to 208.
You
know, like
peaked
one
in-
way or the other.
You like your entire first year to 28, you were building up, and now you get to degrade. So
Perfect.
that is sad for you. I just want you to know that. My peak is going to be like when I'm 50.
Ah,
So then I have a lot
funny
longer
that
to
he
rise.
thinks he has a peak.
I have no peak. I'll just continue to grow. Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
The one thing that I'm doing for my shelf armies is for my Imperial factions, I'm doing Space Marines, Imperial Guard, Inquisition, which includes Grey Knights, Death Watch, and Sisters of Battle.
I'm upset that you included the Grey Knights in there, but I get why you did it. I just don't like that you did it.
I'll fucking kill you. And then also I'll have Mechanicum. And then for the traders, I'll have Heretic Astartes. I'll have Demons. I'll have Renegade Militia, so like Renegade Imperial Guard. And then the final one will be Dark Mechanicum. And yeah, like each one of them has like its opposite, like Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines.
Right.
You know. And then the one that is kind of interesting is Demons and then the Inquisition. Like that's kind of like their specialty army. Well, like it is. They're not like
1/3 of the Inquisition, at
What?
least.
Wait, what? Why? What?
Well, because the Ordo Xenos doesn't care about them. Neither does the Ordo Hereticus.
Oh no, I'm not saying they're like direct. I'm just saying it's like a specialized.
Oh, I see
branch.
what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
All right.
here's the poll that I'm gonna take. That all I don't know, 87 of you out there that message me.
That's a lot of people. Holy crap.
I wish. So far, I'm up to 40.
Jeez.
No. I'm gonna do all my loyalists ranged weapons. Like I'm gonna do like a very ranged heavy theme. Like even my Space Marines, like I won't have Assault Marines. And then my Chaos, I'm gonna do all like close combat themed. Because like one of the points of like these shelf armies is so when I bring a new person in, they can look at the shelf and be like, oh yeah, like, and they can kind of get the instant vibe.
Yeah,
of
you
what
get the
army-
theme of what the army is.
Yeah, exactly. So like a Tau gun line, you know, like I give that theme with the army. So let me know if I should do all ranged for loyalists and all melee for my chaos.
Please, when you're answering back, say no, because then he would have to change so much of his armies.
I accept that. I would be happy. Like, because the other option would be like to build them like balanced.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
you have some
flexible
of
the
each.
way they are
Yeah,
on the
like-
table.
Because like Chaos Space Marines, they do use bolters. You know,
course.
they're not just close combat psychopaths, but
Yeah.
it just gives that more chaos vibe in my mind. But,
And like Mark isn't kidding when he says he'll change. Like I was looking at a dreadnought that he had done,
fuck.
like a chaos one, and it was really well done. But I'm looking at it, and it has like an undermounted flamer on one of the sides, and I'm looking at the fuel line, and for the flamer, and it was a conversion, right? It didn't come with it.
no, I don't think it did.
No, so I'm
Must
looking
not
at it, and I'm like, where does this fuel line go, Mark? And he grabs the model, looks at it for 2 seconds, and then as he looks in my eyes, he just rips the flamer off and throws it in the bits bin. And I was like, I didn't mean take it off. I just wanted to know. He's very serious about people nitpicking his armies.
Yeah, like I try to make them good, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's funny. Like if you point out one wrong thing, he's like, "It's not done, I guess." He'll go change it.
yeah.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, I'll do one project. I'll cycle through, and then as I
You get bored of that one, and you
Yeah,
go to the next one.
exactly.
At least painting has gotten a lot easier. It seems for you.
Yeah, I finally kind of learned how to paint. So like, there's these things. I don't know if you heard about them, but they're called paint brushes.
Yes, I have.
I've recently discovered them.
You stopped using tax. Hey?
I stopped using tax, yes, and I find they do the trick. I don't know what they're like. Are they makeup brushes originally, or like what are they originally used for?
Art, I believe, is the correct term.
Never heard of it. Don't think I like the sound of it either. But
I don't agree.
that's kind of my life.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to 40K,
No,
that's his
just
whole
your
life.
Yeah, no.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good one. Christian, what are you working on right now?
So, if you guys recall on our very first episode, I believe it was, or one of our earlier episodes, our boards needed to be redone.
Yeah, because I defiled them.
Because Mark defiled them
Multiple
repeatedly.
times.
So we went ahead and invested in
That's a great word too.
Invested.
invested. It's a long-term investment.
It's a loss.
That's how
You'll get a return on that investment, I'm sure.
that's how I convinced Mark to front the cash for it.
It's an investment.
I like the sounds of that.
Yeah, so we went
You
ahead
just have to sign up 7 of your friends.
and get them to buy boards, and you get 7 new boards. But anyways, yeah, we bought a bunch of secret weapon miniatures boards. So currently,
What's cool about them is that they snap into place with the other boards.
Yeah,
Because that was
so-
a consistent problem I noticed with ours is that you'd shuffle them
slip
around
and slide.
and you lose millimeters. And when it comes to us, we're assholes. And
when you're measuring,
millimeters
millimeters
matter. For sure. I like that. Millimeters matter.
Yeah, that'll be our tagline.
Because it's a
Will
dual,
not be mine.
Millimeter.
dual purpose
Eric,
joke.
you want to plaster your face on that one, on that quote?
Oh,
Anyways, yeah.
That could be your quote for this episode.
you got it.
Millimeters matter.
Yeah, so that's been my thing is painting up those boards. Since,
Yeah. Do you remember what boards we got? I forget what they're called.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact terms for it, but one is almost like a junk world. So it's got like lots of scrap, like metal scrap debris and stuff on it. And then the other one's like a city fight board with
Yeah.
streets and
And then at the end of this month, we're gonna buy either like
grassland or the ruins.
I think we're gonna go ruins.
ruins, yeah.
But so we'll
No.
have like these 1 foot by
get
1
them all
foot
eventually,
tiles.
Eric.
Yeah, we will. And then, yeah, the 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, and they all clip together and they rotate. You guys know the
Yeah.
deal. You've all done 40K.
Yeah, I like them better than the GW boards because the GW boards are a lot larger and
Yeah.
these ones are a lot more versatile with how you can rotate pieces and stuff like that.
And you can mix and match them too.
Yeah. So you can have
yeah.
half dirt, half city if you wanted to. Or
The only thing that I find is not like I don't really like about the boards. Like the boards are really sweet. I like them.
Yeah.
My only gripe about them is the terrain on them. Like it's so with cover, that seems to be like one of the biggest fights we always have is what counts as cover. How do you know your guy is getting it? Get down line of sight. See if he's actually getting his line of sight.
Yeah.
But with these boards, like especially the ones you're doing right now, is they're not very flat, right? They're hilly and bumpy. So then it's all I can see is my mind is me shouting that my guys get cover and Mark being like,
So
no.
you ever think that that's a personal issue that you need to work on?
No.
if you're
Not
the
at all.
only one that has this problem,
It's not just me because it takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, but one person is right and the other person's wrong.
I'm
Is it-
right.
We've never even played a game on these
I
boards.
know
ever.
we haven't. That's just the
Fuck
only thing.
you, Eric. That's not covered.
Also, like laying down terrain. Like, let's say we get like a building with like a straight edge wall. It won't sit perfectly.
We've played with it a little bit. There's
It
Have
will
you?
work because like when
I feel
put
like you just
the-
put it on the seams.
Yeah, almost like that. Like because when you put the 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, like
They match on the
you,
edge.
You got more space.
Nice.
And like really, the terrain only covers like I think like not even half of them have like a terrain feature on them.
yeah. So
Okay.
you have some that are blanks.
Yeah.
That's
You can
cool.
definitely use.
Okay, that sounds a lot better. I haven't seen all the pieces. There's a lot of boards.
Yeah, we got
So,
like 32 boards. Like
yeah.
Yeah. So
But a lot of variety, which is cool. But the interesting thing about these boards that I'd like you to talk about, I guess, is there's kind of a narrative behind it all. So why don't you tell us more about that, Mark?
okay, let me set the setting for you. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
All right, go.
Perfect. So we're making this planet because we no longer want to play just like games for the sake of playing games. We want to have like a narrative, but it's also kind of frustrating to like, oh, let's just play a pickup game. Let's come up with a narrative now. Now you guys like, you know, it's nice to have just always existing narrative, regardless of something's buzzing.
Something sounds like it's gonna blow up in the room.
It's nice to have like existing backstory. So even if we don't feel like we want to make a backstory, there still will be the backstory of this planet.
Right.
So this planet, it lies directly in the galactic east of the Great Rift, and it lies in the dead center of it. But what happens is there's actually a stable corridor through the rift, and this planet lies in the center. But on either end of the entryway to this planet, the rift can open and close. So it's kind of like this.
It's like a way stop, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going through the tunnel, you enter reality again. Here's the planet, and then you
Yeah.
pick your new destination.
Yeah,
out
and
of
like
there.
because you can go into like the safe area, but the opposite side might not be open. So you have to stop and spend time on this planet essentially until the other side opens up. Both sides could be closed too at the same time, trapping
Right.
people.
Maybe you're stuck here for 10 minutes. Maybe you're stuck here for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. So on this planet, it's basically like every race in the galaxy in the galactic east they don't really want control of the planet because it's more just like a stopping station. But let's say, like Eric said, if you're trapped in this stable warp space for 2 years,
And all of a sudden, an opposing army shows up while you're waiting.
yeah, exactly,
You fight.
you do fight over this planet. But the end goal is not this planet.
I think holding the planet would make strategic sense. Like if you
Yeah,
were to
yeah.
set up a stronghold on it, you would have a defensible position in order to fight back.
And then
any-
you can mine its resources
Yeah.
to build more stuff or whatever.
So maybe the goal, it's not, they don't want the planet because it has like, they want the planet. They want it just because of it, other people would want it.
yeah,
Right? Because
yeah.
it has
And-
value to other people, you need to remove that value
But
from them.
even it being a stable, well, semi-stable route through the Maelstrom too, or not the Maelstrom,
yeah.
but the Great
So
Rift.
it actually has some value.
It has value to a lot of
strategic value.
Yeah, strategic value to a lot of different races. So.
Yeah. So
Which means it's really cool because you instantly have a reason for almost every race to want it.
yeah, exactly. Or to be in that area and
Yeah.
for all of them to clash. And you can play a game of Orcs versus Eldar on this planet and feel perfectly justified doing this. You could even do like anything really. That's
But literally, like that,
Anything.
that's all you need. Like,
Yeah, like-
an army is here and another one shows up.
and
Boom.
they're both waiting for the opposite or the same side of the warp rift to open up so they can pass through.
Yeah.
Like easy peasy.
Or even have a 3-way or 4-way or a 9-way, however you like to have, however
However many ways you want it. You know, it's your way. Have it your way.
Do you know the way?
Oh my gosh. That's so annoying. I hate that.
I just had to. Sorry.
Yes, perfect. So the planet itself, like all these different armies have like occupied it at one point in time. So there'll be a reason to, when we're building terrain, have all these type of different armies terrain on it. Like you can have an orc junkyard on it and feel like, yeah, like at one point in time, the orcs occupied this planet and that's why it's like now this junkyard. Or the Eldar were trapped here for 10 years and they needed to build a city fortification to survive or whatever. It just gives you that reason that these armies are fighting each other. Besides just you want to play a game, Christian?
Right, exactly.
You know, like
grab
there's-
models without any reason really to be
yeah,
fighting.
there's just more backstory behind it without having to come up with a backstory on the spot.
Yeah,
You
I think it's
or,
really
or having
cool.
to do like a campaign. Yeah, so that's kind of the board, like, or the idea behind the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my main focus on it, like, is to do the painting of the board, and do all the terrain pieces that, like, we want to keep it flexible. We want to keep it so that, like, we can have different terrain that represents each of the Xenos races. So, you know, you could have Orc walls, or you could have Eldar walls, or you could have, you know, Necron monoliths. And then you could also have, like, wreckage of all these things, and you could, you know, scatter them around whatever board you're playing on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the...
Are you planning on digging my monolith out of the bit spin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a wreckage.
Actually, that's the one that I might not do. Like, because a monolith, wouldn't it just...
It would. They do crash, and they don't phase.
Oh, they don't?
No, not,
Oh, okay,
not
I
that
didn't-
I'm aware of.
Oh, I'll have to read up on that. But
Yeah.
if they don't phase, then yeah, we'll take it. But I almost recommend, Eric, that you keep it.
It's expensive.
Well, you keep it, you destroy it for yourself, and then when you're
you
playing
play,
a game
you can
and your
feel
monolith
it.
gets
Oh, I
destroyed by
see, I
me in
see.
turn one,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can then put this destroyed
How would you?
down.
I literally am covered in fucking necrodermis. Okay.
I own a Warlord Titan. I'll find a way.
I was waiting for Jordan's little
Chuckle.
find a way.
No, do you know the way?
I hate that. Anyways, sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Oh, no, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on that.
Yeah, so you're like our board guy right now. You're dedicated.
Yeah, the one
You
thing we
have-
wanted to do is, like, we all have a certain style when we paint.
Yeah.
So we wanted to keep it consistent, so one of us ended up getting stuck with painting all the boards.
Stuck or blessed?
Or volunteered.
Voluntold. Commissioned. You've been.
Yeah, I
You've
was...
been conscripted.
Yes. yes.
You're familiar with that.
Yeah, Imperial Guard, yeah. Yeah, so... And I do love doing terrain. Like, terrain is... I enjoy doing it, so... Could have picked a... I volunteered for it, in all
Yeah.
honesty. And I was the one that was pushing for new boards, so I will take the burden of painting it.
You've
and-
painted maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, I have, like, a bunch.
It's been pretty consistent too.
Yeah. A
I've
bunch
been
are
impressed
prime.
by his progress actually.
Yeah.
But they're turning out
Yeah.
pretty good. Like you're not done yet, but
No, yeah.
the direction that you're going is sweet. Like so he's working on the scrapyard one.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
the first one I'm working on, yeah.
And yeah, it's just like brown dirty dirt with like rusted metal like scrap everywhere. Like,
Yeah, like, I'm trying to keep it within a certain color palette, just so that it looks consistent across all the boards.
Oh, that's what you're doing?
Well, like, I picked, like, a...
I'm colorblind. I don't.
This whole time. That's why you play Necron. There's no color. Yeah, so so each kind of area of terrain is going to have like its theme, right? Obviously the junk world is going to be mostly dirt, and then like a lot of silvers and metallic colors.
Yeah.
With like highlights of certain primary colors. We'll have the city fight board. There'll be a lot of grays and blacks and things
yeah.
like that.
But then like the city fight board also has like ruptured craters in it.
Yeah, so the way we're gonna do this, since it all takes place on the same planet, I want to use the same palette, kind of, subbing out certain colors, like highlight colors, so that across all the boards, regardless of if you're playing on a city fight, if you're playing like
Yeah.
on the junk world or on the plains,
Or if you're playing half city, half junk.
yeah,
world.
exactly, that they can all kind of blend together so that they look like they belong. It's not like you have, this yellowish sand looking board like right up against a snowboard. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't like that. So yeah, we're just trying to make it the best way that we can blend any combination of any of the boards, and it all kind of fits.
Yeah.
Question for everyone who plays. What's the favorite like theme of board you've ever played on? Like, what's the one you thought was best? And if you could play on any themed board, describe the setting it would look like to me. Mark, go for it. What's the best board you've ever played on? Like, what's the favorite one?
I don't know.
I'm like okay.
So okay, sorry.
Well, no, like way back in the day, like
So-
when I first started,
Yeah.
remember you had those wood boards?
Yeah, yeah.
And there was like permanent structures on them.
Yeah.
So there was this one, it was like a 5-story building or something, or a 4-story building, and like a quarter of it had completely crumbled, and you literally just took sprues and you just glued sprues until it was a pile, and then you fitted things in it. It was like the building had crumbled
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones to play on, because there was no other tall buildings around.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
every single time we play, it's always just these ruined buildings.
Yeah.
But I really liked that one specific
Because it
board.
wasn't just like one standing half of a building with no terrain around it. Like I tried.
Yeah,
to
Mark
make it
has an
look like-
obsession with making the complete building look as if it had collapsed instead of being very barren around single walls.
So that's the favorite one I've ever played on. Now, if I could choose to play on anything, it would be an unspoiled metropolis area city. I would love to play with skyscrapers.
Well, Eric, if you give me $600, I can make that happen
But
for you.
I think, to me, that would be one of the coolest things ever. I have never played on a board with that much line of sight breaking.
Yeah, where everything's just tall and it's
Right? Yeah, exactly. And then, like, what happens if you, like, maybe we create rules of what would happen if you destroy a building.
Yeah.
And we could swap out boards or swap out terrain features for it.
Yeah.
To me, that would be one of my favorite, one of the things I would love to do is play on a board like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're talking about mythical boards,
Collective
I'm
laughter. Right?
lately been really obsessed with Ocean Worlds in 40K because I think it's an area that's totally
3D
unexplored.
It's 3D combat.
3D combat.
As opposed
As opposed
So-
to 2D combat?
to, I don't know. What
Anyways,
says that.
yeah,
He's a
my
fucking loon.
my fantasy, we'll see if I ever get around to actually building it, is to have like clear plastic tiles that stack up and with like a certain distance, like maybe 12 inches in between each kind of panel, and then have like an ocean floor on the bottom and make it like decently tall. So it won't be very broad.
Like a cube.
Yeah, but
Do a cube.
It'll have to be more like almost like a skyscraper structure. Like it'll have to be narrower on the side so that you can actually reach your arm into the middle.
Sure.
I put a lot of thought into this, believe me. So then you can literally play underwater and in all dimensions. You can go up, down, left, right.
Cool idea. I don't think it would work very
I
well.
haven't worked out all the
Yeah.
specs, and like this is a fantasy board, right? Like,
Of course. Yeah.
but-
That would be your like what you'd really want to try and experience.
Yeah.
That's cool. Pretty unique.
yeah. Like I said, it's not. Really
Have you
been
ever heard of
explored.
space physics?
I played on a I think I played a game with you, Mark, where it was like interesting. I'm not sure where you guys got the idea, but where if you got like knocked off, you fell.
This was
Was
gonna
this
be
the
my
asteroid?
yeah. So like
Yeah.
we were doing like a Death Watch RPG.
The campaign.
Right, and
Yeah, no,
we
that
were
was a
playing.
really
We
cool
played just
one.
like a what you call it.
Words.
Yes, words. No,
Like
what,
a pen and paper.
what was the game we were playing?
Death
though?
Watch.
No, what we weren't playing Death Watch. We were playing 40K.
Yeah. Like it was a made up game. I made up the game completely.
Yeah.
It was called
Oh.
Astro Wardens.
Oh,
like-
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like it was just a.
It was like a blend between RPG and tabletop.
Yeah, exactly. Like each guy was in control of one Space Marine. They level them up. They get new war gear and whatever. But yeah, so this board, the way I designed it was, I actually like cut out a bunch of like styrofoam chunks or whatever, styrofoam rocks. Me and Christian, I think Christian helped me, and Eric.
This was a group effort.
It might have been.
There's
I don't
the
know.
universal.
No,
beat.
I remember building it because I remember cutting out shapes.
Yeah. So we
all
cut
I'm
out
good
a bunch
for.
of shapes, and then we had a black backdrop, and then we speckled like white stars onto it, and then we had the rocks, and they would just move
Yeah.
from left to right
Every
turn.
time someone like we'd finished a full rotation of turns, like the DM had to like move the asteroids that were in motion like a certain amount down the field, and if you like weren't still on the playable field by the time those were done, like you got lost or something.
Yeah,
for, like,
I was gonna take you out of the game.
yeah,
like,
for a certain number of rotations until like you came back as
Yeah.
because it was rotating around,
Yeah.
right? That was a really cool one, but space physics.
Yeah,
that was where we
exactly,
got hooked up on it.
yeah, like
How do you?
I've never been to space. Is my
right.
problem.
Me neither.
Yeah, and I've definitely never fired a bolter in space.
Well, there's no recoil.
Well, if the
Everyone's
Last
giving
Jedi
each
has
other dirty
taught us
looks.
anything, we can drop bombs in space.
Yeah, you don't even need a spacesuit to be able to spy
My
in space.
rationalization is magnets.
Oh yeah.
Why won't the magnets just suck the bomb up into your own bomber then?
Look, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I wish they would have explained it if it was, but
The
anyway.
casual observer would not question it.
Okay.
Except everyone who's ever watched it, but I digress.
Yeah, moving on.
But that was a really cool one. It was very unique, and
Yeah.
I have never played on one like that again.
It's too complex for like a regular game, I think.
Yes.
Because you have too many units and too many moving parts. But for like an RPG type setting, yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe do you want to try and figure out a way to do it? like tabletop. We can do it. We have the technology.
Well, it's just unfortunate because this planet doesn't have an asteroid belt. So
Maybe
not?
a warp storm opens up and all of a sudden,
yes.
okay, I'm done.
Tell me.
Mark, what would be your favorite board that you have played on, or one that you really would like to play on?
Yeah, so I stumble into the same category as Jordan, where it's like when we were doing that Astro Warden Space Marine RPG, we ended up making boards for a lot of the places that we actually fought on, like painted and everything.
Yeah.
So I'd fall into one of them. Like the asteroid one was really sweet. We also did like a bunch of sewer system fighting ones.
Oh, we even had like
A Tyranid hive ship that was like corridors.
with the sphincter.
Yeah, like we did a lot of cool ones where like it would not make for a good 40K game, but it was perfect and sweet and it looked awesome for
Yeah, it really helped
RPG.
the narrative.
Yeah. And if I could just choose any board I wanted to, it would just be some type of massive city fight board, like just
Unspoiled City or like Ruined City, already seen a fight. Like, do you prefer the ruins? Both.
Like if we're talking like, you know, we have infinite money and we play on the ideal board, like I don't know if Games Workshop still has rules for destructible buildings, but they did. So like you literally have an unspoiled city, and while you're playing, you're like purposely like, okay, tank regiment, shoot down that building, and it collapses on somebody, you know,
right?
And then you put down
a ruin, yeah. I think something that keeps coming up, like you both said this now, is like dynamic terrain.
Yeah.
Which I think is like fantastic. Even like if you ever played Gears of War multiplayer, where the maps change, right?
Yes.
So you're on a snow world and you have like an avalanche to come in and just like completely change the layout of the map. You know, you could have sandstorms and like just, you know, dynamic weather, dynamic terrain that really changes the game. I'd be totally down for
Or even like bombs dropping or something.
Yeah.
leaving
like,
craters.
yeah.
Well, we kind of did that. We had like templates for any time we blew up a vehicle, it would become like a shattered vehicle, because that becomes dangerous terrain then, right? When a vehicle
back in the day, yeah.
Oh, that doesn't
old
exist
rules.
anymore?
I don't know, man.
Oh.
I've played one game of 8th edition.
I even read the
and
rules.
and it was like 50 points.
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing.
But we did have like a lot of ways to change it, especially with what we were interacting with. Maybe not buildings, but that, like, obviously I want to immerse myself in as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just what are you capable of? What are you willing to spend money on?
Yeah.
And can you agree on rules for it? Because I also think that's something
I need to agree when I can just tell you.
When you can just be right.
Like I get hooked up on that a lot, is like the balancing of some things that Mark and I actually probably disagree on most, like third party balancing stuff when we're trying to figure stuff out on our own to add into the game.
Yeah,
that's a tough thing for us to do.
Tough thing for him to do.
Okay.
Like, once again, when you're right, you know?
Yeah, a crew talks should be 26 points.
Yeah, as opposed to 87 like you thought.
No, 26 is what I said.
Well, you think I went lower than that?
You went way lower. You were like 18 or something.
I'm pulling out my phone, you son of a bitch. You made me do this.
Yeah. But terrain, that's pretty cool. But what are you working on in terms of models?
Kind of like Mark, I have a lot of different projects on the go. Currently, my two big projects are an orc army that I started not that long ago.
Uh-oh, Mark's giving me a look. What did I say? Did you find it? Did you write this down somewhere?
He has a book of grudges.
Did you find it?
I did.
What did
I
it
said
say?
20.
I said...
I thought you were going like Space Marine equivalent when we were talking. You were going absurdly high. Like,
I think it was 26.
no, I think that's like, I think originally I said 20, and then we kind of did some like math crunching, and then it ended up at Space Marine level. I'm like, there's no way they're Space Marine level. So then we just took like a Thunderwolf and one other thing.
Yeah, I remember that whole
Whatever
thing.
the case may be.
I was
it's
higher
irrelevant.
than you were. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Sorry,
One was
Christian.
one thought a crew talks was, or a crew talk. No, what are they? Fucking a Narlock rider.
Oh, the Narlock.
A
that's
Narlock
right.
rider is the equivalent of a Terminator, so that's laughable. And then the other one was more reasonable, and thought it
Who
was.
thought it was a...
You thought it was worth a Terminator,
Oh.
which is not reasonable.
I don't remember how I thought that, because...
Because that's
Yeah.
because we added up a Thunderwolf and like the crew, and that's how much it would add to. But it's like that. It's not a Terminator equivalent. 'Cause-
Gotcha.
Yeah, but whatever. Sorry.
Yeah.
Derailed.
Bonus episode?
Another old one.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Christian, go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm starting an orc army. One thing I'm really fascinated by is like orc sizing and like how the biggest orc rules. I've seen other people do this, so I was kind of inspired to it. But to take a Demon Prince model to make my war boss, and then scale down from there, and then with
So
all
like, I'm true scaling Space Marines. Christian's
true scaling orcs.
Like,
Eric, what are you doing with your life? What are you true
Nothing.
scaling?
he's a millimeters guy.
Yeah,
millimeters
He only
matter,
thinks in
okay?
millimeters. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of my one project, and my other project was for.
Can we talk a little bit more about your orcs?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I want to scale down from the war boss size. So then the next like size down would be like knobs, and I'm looking at different models for them. I haven't bought anything yet. I'm gonna tweak around with it, but almost those I forget what they're called. They're almost like rat ogres, I think.
Oh yeah. From fantasy.
Yeah, so Warhammer Fantasy rat ogres would kind of I gotta compare their sizes to the Demon Prince and see where they sit.
Yeah, I think
And-
they're a little smaller. But
Yeah. So I kind of want like a knob squad that's still bigger than regular orcs, and then scale down to the fantasy orcs that are a lot bigger than even the 40k orc models.
Yeah.
And then scale down again to the regular 40k models and just progressively go
Because
down.
in the lore, Gazkul Mega Urg Thraka is 16 feet tall.
Yeah, and you don't see that when you see a war boss model.
Not at
right?
all. Yeah.
No,
the
like-
scaling is super
like-
wrong with him.
With
Yeah.
all like
With all the
Warhammer
orcs,
is
yeah.
really bad about scaling things equivalently. Like you have
that's
Imperial
true.
Guardsmen that are as tall as Space Marines. You have Space Marines that couldn't even fit in their vehicles. Like
Yeah.
none of it makes sense scale wise. So I really want to.
Yeah, because it's all balanced around the game itself.
And it ruins my immersion.
That's why you true scale.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm going for. Is
Yeah, it's very cool.
What
like-
about the theme of your army?
I'm not totally set on that.
I
don't
thought you
have-
were doing all the clans.
Yeah, there's that. That's as much as I got though. Like,
Oh,
I
but
don't have
you
a lot
are
of
like
depth.
you'll be pulling like
Yeah,
specific
so I'm going to be
clans.
using parts from as much of the orc range as I can, and even some third-party bits, and kind of like
blasphemy.
have like a
Not on this podcast.
have each kind of group of orcs represent kind of the ideal version of themselves. So like your snake bites are a lot less technologically advanced, maybe a lot more melee oriented, have more leathers and things and furs that they're wearing. You'll have like some goths that have more heavy armor, like have darker color. I want to unify them with their color scheme, but I want you to be able to kind of tell like each tribe based on how they look.
Is the unifying something that you think the orcs would do, or is it your own interpret? Like this is what you need to see. It needs
A little bit of both. I think it'll look bad.
You really think the orcs would unify? Like they care about their colors?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, like
colors mean things in orc culture.
Right, absolutely.
So-
But how many are there? Like 5, 6?
colors?
Yeah. I'm
Eric's colorblind.
No. How many colors are there that orcs care about?
Like you could pick any color and you could make up a made up reason for it. But like,
Right. But
I know what you're
that
saying.
means there's no unifying, because then you could have 30 different colors that these
Yeah.
orcs care about, right?
Yeah.
And that's what
I
I'm
see-
wondering.
I see what you're saying.
Like, I think a rainbow army would fit with orcs. And to me, thematically, it would make more sense. But in terms of unifying under a single color, I think that's more for your own aesthetics.
Yeah, I think it would look bad if everything was like. I get orcs are hodgepodgey, but it would look bad if it was in the extreme where you look like a rainbow.
Yes.
Marching
And
around.
I
It's not very
agree.
threatening.
I agree. Like, if I was to look at him, I'd be like, why does it look like such a pile?
Yeah.
Right? A mishmash. Now, I understand what orcs are. So as soon as you're to explain, like, these guys are like all the 7 different clans, and these what they think about, like, the theme makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
coming in from the outside, it would look gross.
Yeah, so I got to ride that line, right? Like I do want them to differentiate a little bit based on colors and things, but I want it to look like they fit in one army together under this one war boss. So
Yeah.
that's kind of that thing. And then my other project is Thunder Warriors.
No. Oh, I think I told you that one guy was really happy. Woody.
Yeah,
Twice now I've mentioned Woody.
yeah.
He really liked them. I even took some pictures of you guys. And he's
Oh,
like,
did you?
That's awesome.
Without my consent, did you?
I always take pictures of you
Without
without
my
your consent.
Well, if you're in his garage, you're getting photos taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit behind that, I think that was more lore driven. So I started this way back a while ago, but I'd finished reading the Horse Heresy book. I forget which one it's called, but there's
I don't remember. No.
no.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
on the tip
Mark
of
will
my
look it
brain.
up. But anyways, there's the last 2 Thunder Warriors in it, and they escape with Gene Seed. Spoilers, if anyone's listening. Yeah, so they escape with Gene Seed. There's a lot, like maybe when we talk about Thunder Warriors in one of the lore episodes.
Yeah, Thunder Warriors are really cool.
Make a lot more sense, yeah. But anyways, point is there's only 2 left in the whole galaxy. They run away and they're trying to fix whatever genetic deficiencies they have.
Genetic time bomb, you mean?
Yeah. So kind of what I thought is like, 10,000 years later, they've made some progress. In secret. And they've proven to be rather intelligent and resourceful. So they've made a comeback. They've had 10,000 years of like, equipping arms and training and creating more of themselves and replicating and kind of using the Gene Seed to do away with their flaws.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the rationale behind them. So what I did is I took Stormcast Eternal models. I've seen this done before where they try to make them look like the old Thunder Warriors, but the point I'm trying to make is these are Thunder Warriors in 40K.
So they've actually adapted to 40K.
Exactly, yeah. So they're not wearing the armor they wore initially, right?
Which was like super antique power armor.
Yeah, and also like not environmentally sealed.
Yeah,
Right.
like it has all these drawbacks. It doesn't make sense for
them to be in 40K and be like viable and still have that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. And they're not constrained by like the Imperium because they should be dead. So they don't have the same constraints on technology and things like that.
They don't have the same hookups.
Yeah, hang-ups, yeah. And it's
They also don't hook up, okay?
Are you saying they don't have penises?
They might. I don't know.
he doesn't
Have you
know.
checked?
I haven't.
Have you
Penis check.
Yeah.
That book is called The Outcast Dead.
Yeah, The
Book-
Outcast
Book
Dead.
8.
Yeah, so when I read that, I got
That's pretty far
inspired.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got inspired, picked up a bunch of Stormcast models and started to do that with them.
I'm so
Yeah,
sick of
and-
seeing Stormcast Eternals.
Yeah,
Oh
and you
my
know what?
gosh.
It runs in the face of everything that makes me mad about 40K. Like they're really just another Space Marine variation.
On one hand, you're like, I hate you, and on the other one, you're buying Stormcast Eternals.
Yeah, I just liked it because it's kind of my own thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And the way you did your lore too is like they don't fight for the Imperium.
yeah. So they're kind of, because they have the mentality of the Emperor. They walked alongside the Emperor. The Emperor made them, and they're still loyal to the Emperor. They're loyal to the idea of what the Imperium was supposed to be and not what it is. So they are brought into direct conflict with what the Imperium stands for today.
Absolutely. Like the entire ecclesiarchy to them.
Yeah, all of it.
is-
It's abhorrent, right?
Yeah.
The Imperium is not the Imperium that they.
Yeah, like especially when like they were fighting on
Terra.
one of their big things was going around and wrecking every church,
Yeah.
wrecking religion.
Yeah,
like
right. So the
the,
Emperor.
the reunification wars. Is
Yeah.
that what those were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unification of Terra, yeah. So yeah, like, overthrowing, despotic warlords and things like that, and then they turn around and look at what the Imperium's become. It's become like an antithesis to everything that the
They
Emperor-
fought for.
Exactly. So they're jaded. They don't see, and they also like see Space Marines as being weaker versions of themselves,
Which, like,
they are
are.
physically,
Yeah.
but also like, you could say spiritually they're weaker in that like half of them created this Imperium, right? They fell
Fell.
to chaos, and that's
Yeah.
not something a Thunder Warrior has ever done. So they're like, oh, you guys are.
Well, there's
both-
only 2 of them, so
Well, that's the thing, they've created more. but yeah, they look back and they're like,
they're no Grey Knights.
no. And I'm open to the idea of even them, some of them falling to chaos. But the point is that the Imperium isn't the Imperium that they belong to or aspire for, and they'll fight it just as much as they'll fight Xenos and every other.
Yeah. And like you said, like the Space Marines who like replaced them did a horrible job. So they
Exactly,
have
and they're
that
like, we
grudge.
can do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still
Yeah.
fighting for the
It's-
Emperor, but
Yeah.
in a different way.
We're fighting what they believe is the correct thing.
Exactly.
So they feel vindicated and justified,
Yeah,
which is always
they'll kill
dangerous.
Space Marines and they don't care because
Yeah.
they see them as lesser than and
Yeah.
weak.
Better that we kill you than you turn to chaos.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So let's talk about 2 more things with them.
Yep.
First would be, how did you convert them?
A lot of it is bringing 40K weapons into the Stormcast arsenal. So lots of chain weapons specifically. They're known to be brutal, and like close combat is kind of their specialty. So I wanted to try and like capitalize on that in looks. So yeah, like lots of chain weapons. I think chain weapons, they might not be the best close combat weapons, but they look the most
They're
brutal.
Yeah, and like when they're fighting on Terra, like that's what they were going
Yeah.
for. Like a lot of times armies would yield just like hearing that Thunder Warriors
Were
are coming.
coming, because-
there was nothing else like them really.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And they
So savage.
hyper violent.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. They kill everything, and that's one of the reasons that they were gotten rid of. Is
Yeah.
they don't like differentiate. They will just annihilate their
Sorry,
enemy.
on a slight aside, did you guys see that thing that described the Primaris Marines and how they were so violent that like a couple Marines even like backed away and were like,
Oh,
whoa, this
that's
is
a-
like
well,
too
that's-
much?
Blood Angel thing.
Yeah, and that. Yeah,
No.
no, that's Death Company. Like,
Yeah.
or Blood Angel, Primaris, almost Death Company type guys.
Because supposedly the flaw isn't coming out. It's not supposed to be represented in the Primaris Marines, but then I forget if it was actually Corbulo or another.
What is that in the
West
main
Coast.
rule book? Because
I
I
don't know if it
I
was
wasn't
a-
reading
I
the
think-
Blood
I think it
Angel
was a
Codex.
story.
I think it's in the novel.
Yeah, I think it's a story.
No, it was in like a side. It was like in a side note of a book.
I think they have a book on it though.
Oh, I see.
Me and
Like
Christian
that-
both know exactly
that-
what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay,
We're
okay.
on the exact same page.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems to me like the primary, like from what I read, is that like the Primaris were like are more aggressive and more violent
it's-
than a regular
it's-
Marine.
No, it's catered to Blood Angels. And
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like
All
an
right.
Ultramarine one is not like
gonna be like that. No.
So that actually leads perfectly into the next question. Oh well, yeah. So you just toss bolters and chainswords and power packs on Stormcast,
Yeah.
essentially.
So yeah, the other thing too is making their power armor look like power armor. So yeah, a lot of the backpacks, things like that.
Yeah. Grenades, ammo
Grenades. Yeah,
pouches,
exactly.
you
Things
know.
that bring them, more into a modern quote unquote battlefield aesthetic.
Yeah.
Their
And then
helmets.
the cool thing too that you did with the bolters was it's not like you just took a Space Marine bolter and slapped it on. You took like an Umbra pattern one. Like you took like a Forge World
Yeah,
one.
it's like a heresy pattern.
Yeah, like so it doesn't. It looks different, but you can still tell it's a bolter.
Yeah.
But it's not just you didn't slap an Aquila bolter on.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
that's the thing. I'm staying away from any iconography or anything that can identify them as like loyal to the imperial regime.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that a lot of those older bolter patterns have a more brutal design. Like that's the thing I'm going for is a lot of brutality in what they look like.
Yeah.
Again, to kind of capture the essence of the army.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have a more brutal looking weapon and arsenal.
Yeah.
I do use some of the Stormcast weapons too. I do like their aesthetic as well. So it's kind of a toss up. And their helmets, I'm not totally committed on either way.
I still think you should replace them.
Yeah.
with,
I mean, there's in-lore explanations for both. Like if you look
Yeah.
at old Thunder Warrior art, some of them have faceplates,
Yeah.
and then some of them have like the classic visor that almost looks like an Imperial Guard helmet. And then there's another pattern.
That's kind of cool. I've never seen that one.
Oh, that's like the classic Thunder Warrior design. Yeah,
I
and then,
haven't seen too much artwork when it comes to the Thunder Warriors.
Okay, yeah, and then the last kind of pattern, it looks kind of like a Space Marine helmet.
Yeah.
So I'm in between that on the heads. I'm not settled on that.
Space Marine helmet. That
I kind of like that.
chaos one with
Yeah.
the top knot.
Yeah, I
because they
think-
had it. That's the best.
Yeah.
and it'll just make their helmet too, like with the rebreather on it.
Yeah,
it just
it'll look
adds that
more-
one more touch.
Yeah.
but yeah, they look pretty sweet. For rules wise, you use Blood Angel Death Company guys because our logic behind it was like they are like stronger,
Yep.
like they're faster, they're
They're like berserkers. Yeah, when they fight.
Yeah. They get more attacks and like they don't feel as much pain. And we're talking about seventh edition rules too.
Yeah, that's
So,
the thing too, is that we decided on that before 8th edition came out.
So-
I don't know if I want to change them to maybe a Primaris like offshoot or whatever the Blood Angel versions look like. We'll see. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
settled on
well,
that. But I want them to be, or even custodes, dare I say it.
Oh fuck.
Anti-custode models.
Boo.
Boo indeed.
Yeah. But we'll see. They got to be stat line wise, better than a standard Space Marine because
Yeah.
that's what they are in the lore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of the backstory on my stuff.
Eric.
Yo. Oh boy, what am I working on? Well, very recently, I've decided to tackle on filling out like a Necron army. But
You've been a Necron guy for a while.
yeah, I've always liked Necron, even before they were the new Cron.
Yeah.
Like when they were the old Cron, that was like when I first stepped into it, and I had, bought some models and a monolith and whatever. But kind of it dropped off for a little bit for me. I don't know, I stopped collecting for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we all reach those.
Yeah, a little impasse. But then I stepped back into Gene Stealer cults, and then I painted like 3 models, and I'm like, fuck this shit. And I put down the paintbrush. I don't have the patience for that. So you go back into your standard no effort Necron.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something more than just a playable army.
Like we're all narrative. Like we love the lore. Like as you can tell, we haven't played 8th edition, and we're 7 months into 8th edition.
Yeah.
You know, like
For real though.
yeah,
But I wanted it to have like a feeling to what I was building.
yeah,
So originally I was like, well, there are a couple like really well-known dynasties that are emerging in the universe right now. And I was like, well, why don't I do like, I look at each dynasty, kind of break it down into what I think its specialties are, and then build just troop choices around that. And then when I field the whole thing, like, if the Sotek is just known for having like a lot of warriors, you bring warriors painted from the Sotek dynasty.
Yeah.
The Novok dynasty is known for being like particularly bloodthirsty. What they would do is when they were Necron Tur, they would paint themselves in the blood of their enemies, and that's even translated as Necron now. They paint their heads and their shoulder pads red.
How would you have you thought how you would represent that like on tabletop?
Not really, especially because there's not a lot of variety when it comes there's no physical aspect of Necron.
Like the one thing you could do for them is use a lot of immortals. Because it's the warrior.
They were the warrior caste of the Necron.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is a possibility. The one thing that Necron is missing is melee. That's the one thing that
they got flayed ones, but
flayed ones to me don't belong in an army.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Necron hate the flayed ones and they view them as detestable. So
Yeah.
a flayed one will show up and a Necron will deal with the Elder that they're fighting, but as soon as the Elder are dead, they're destroying the flayed ones.
Yeah.
So I would never want to put them and assemble them and say that they're from the same army.
Yeah.
But what it boiled down to is Mark and I were hashing this out of, what are the different dynasties I would pick. Something that both Mark and Christian warned me against was having too many different crazy color schemes and then trying to field them all at once.
It comes down to that orc thing again. That
The
we just
rainbow.
talked. Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe thematically it makes complete sense that I have like 7 different dynasties and they're all painted completely differently. But as soon as I play them on the board, it just looks like a hash.
Yeah.
Like a mishmash.
Yeah.
And I get that. And I think I've kind of, for the most part, I've conceded that. And I've kind of given up on that dream. Of having
Just like all your dreams, Eric.
that's not true at all. I've given up on the dream of having like 7 completely separate dynasties. And so all I did now is I went through every single known dynasty and I read its little blurb, did some more research on it. So the Sotek is like the biggest one dynasty right now. It completely surrounds the Tau Empire and it probably covers like 15% of the entire Ultramar segmentum.
Yeah.
Like segmentum.
It's a huge
It's
dynasty.
massive. So, like, what I'm planning on doing right now is building an army worthy of Mordor.
Now you're talking my language.
No, if you look in the 7th edition Necron Codex, it kind of breaks down what a Decurion Legion would be and how many units of each is in that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much going to follow that exact thing, maxing it out completely. So when you look, it describes the royal court, and it says in your royal court you have 1 overlord, or if you're doing Sotek, it would be Imhotep, the Stormlord. And then you would have 1 to 3 lords. But for me, since it's the Sotek dynasty, I'll put 3 lords out.
Yeah.
It says you have 1 to 3 cryptics, but there's Illuminor Saris and Orican the Diviner, who are named heroes, but they are cryptics, and you can just use them.
Yeah.
And then it talks about, then you have your Reclamation Legion, and it has... So the crazy thing about this is that a Reclamation Legion has anywhere from 1 to 8...
I thought it was 2.
Is it 2 to 8?
Yeah,
Oh, you're right, because it was troop choices back then.
Yeah, sorry. Either way.
You're right.
Crescendo.
So 2 to 8 Necron troop choices.
Yeah.
So if I do 8 Necron troops, that's a minimum, and I will do 8, but that's a minimum 80 guys. But then you think about this.
Minimum. Yeah,
Minimum.
because they can go up to 20.
Exactly. A Necron troop choice can have 20 guys. So if I fully complete this, I will have 120 Necron warriors. And that is a small portion of the army I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you will also have my utmost respect and admiration.
But
which is worth more than any amount of Necron
it's just
warriors.
insane, because they also say, especially for the Reclamation Legion, it's 1 or more.
Yeah.
So the Reclamation Legion, it has immortals, it has a lord, it has warriors, it has 0 to 3 monoliths. So 1 Reclamation Legion has 3 monoliths, guys.
Yeah.
And then it has all these things, a lot of stuff. but then you can make multiple reclamation legions.
Yeah.
So then it would be 240 Necron warriors. So this
Somebody
is
stop
a
him.
rabbit trail that
Yeah.
I've started.
But it's sweet. Like, people often like try to collect an entire Space Marine chapter.
Yeah.
But you're trying to do like something similar where you have this grand scheme. You're never going to field an entire Space Marine chapter. Just
no.
like you're never going to field that entire 180 guys, but it's going to look fucking good on a shelf.
In a glass case that I never touch.
Yeah.
And the main reason I want to do this, I like the fact that there's no end goal.
Yeah.
Really, because I honestly think it's going to be impossible for me to ever fully complete it. But I suck at painting. I really do. Like, I don't have the patience for it. But Necron, to me, like, I'm watching these like videos by Duncan, the paint god.
Bless his soul.
Bless.
Twice.
Thank you, Duncan. Two thin coats.
Two thin coats.
But I'm watching videos by him, and I was building my Necron Overlord the other night and just watching him paint the Necron Overlord and the Necron Warrior, and he just makes it look so simple.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You're
can
like,
do that.
I can definitely do that.
So we'll see how it turns out. I like literally just bought my first starting of it the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm getting pretty excited.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet, man. Like,
Yeah.
like just to see all of it on a shelf. I might even clear your space.
Yes.
Like, it's going to be sweet. Like,
Excellent.
and I like too that, like, most likely the way you're going to do it too is you're going to paint all that stuff that you just bought before you buy anything
No,
else.
exactly. Like, I won't permit myself to buy anything more
Yeah.
until I've painted completely what I have.
Yeah, and I think that's a good check to make it so you don't just end up like someone we know who just keeps buying Space Marine box set after Space Marine box set, yet he only has 5 built guys,
Right.
and they're not even Space Marines.
Right, exactly.
Makes you really wonder about that man's motivations behind buying box set after box set.
Christian,
I'm
looking
a
at
collector.
looking at you, bud. No, but that's very real. Another thing for me is painting has always been a drudgery.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that with like Necron and the fact that they're just really simple, that
Yeah.
I'll enjoy it a lot more, and I'll
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing a lot more
Yeah.
with it.
Well, like, personally, yeah, like, I hated painting too. I still really do hate painting.
Yeah.
But, like, when you pump out a model that actually looks good, you get that boost of, oh,
it wasn't that bad.
it was worth it in
Yeah,
the end,
yeah.
you know? So, with Necron,
Feel like
yeah,
a
you
hit
definitely...
of dopamine.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a
drug.
scientific. But yeah, like, so you'll definitely be able to do that with a Necron. Like, it's a Necron.
Yeah,
You'll be able to paint it.
I'm pretty excited for it. And I still do want to have some aspects of other dynasties. I want to have a little bit of flavor when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
So Trazen the Infinite, he's actually part of the Nihilak dynasty.
Yeah.
Which I'm not doing, but I do want to collect every named hero.
Yeah.
And no, sorry.
Traveler?
Anrakir, the Traveler.
Yeah.
Trazen the Infinite is part of Sotek.
No,
No.
he's Nanokiro too, I believe. He starts with an N. I can't say it, but I know it starts with an N.
I have it all written down on a paper in my room
Yeah,
somewhere, but
yeah.
I've just been going through so many names that they
yeah,
get
and it's not
lost.
even English, so
Right,
it's like, how
it's
do you-
more difficult.
Yeah.
But Anrakir the Traveler, he's actually given up his position in his dynasty because he just believes he's on like a crusade to travel to every dynasty to bring them back into what he believes is the correct fold.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of like what every other Pharaoh would think.
But I feel like he does it more through like negotiations and like remember who we were, then force, which is what other Necron might
because
do.
he's left his dynasty,
Yeah.
right? Someone else can pick up the shreds of what he did, but he actually travels around with the group of immortals that were like his warriors.
Oh, do we remember what they were called?
I don't like the Peerless or something.
I thought they were something very similar to the Eternal Guard or like very similar to like Immortal.
It's something. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, but what's cool about Anrakir is his energy is blue. So a lot of that is explained with radiation, and that cryptics are able to translate that radiation into powering up the weapons and the soldiery of the Necron, which would change the hue from from a green to a blue. And this was one of the traps you said not to do, Christian, is keep the theme, right? Like if you're going to do a bunch of different dynasties, at the very least, keep all the
Yeah.
energy green.
Yeah, like a central color. to
Exactly,
unify
yeah.
them.
So I've kind of given up on the idea of doing multiple dynasties, but I still want to have him because he's a named character. So I'll do him and then a single unit of immortals. And then any time that I field him, like I'll field the immortals, and I won't feel bad fielding the rest as Sotek Dynasty because he's just showing up and he wants to help them What, you found that, Mark?
Yeah.
The Pyrian Eternals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the warriors that he initially started with. So they've followed him in it. So I'm pretty excited for it. There's a lot to do. Never ending.
It'll be sweet.
A lot of fucking money when I look at it.
Whatever. Like,
Yeah, over the course of 10 years, I don't give a rip.
Yeah.
Right? It's just paper.
Yeah.
So
Set reminder to check in with Eric's army progress in 10 years.
10 years from now. How many have you done, Eric? 2 warriors, fully painted. That's what I'm working on right now.
No, it's so sweet.
It's totally one of those things that you put away for a little bit and you collect like some Black Templar, right? And pay a little of those, and then you go back to your Necron. But I've found my army I want to like build.
Yeah.
This is the army I want to build.
After hearing you, like, going over all that with you, like, I'm just itching to do, like, a Tau, similar version of that.
Like a
but-
sept, or like what do they call them?
A cadre?
Hunter cadres.
Is that
Yeah, that's like their military, like, equivalent to like a company. Or,
when they send out a sept though? What's that called? Like when when they have their
sphere of expansion.
Yeah, when they have their sphere of expansion.
Doing a whole sphere expansion, that'd be
too many.
like unreasonable.
Well, you
do
just
like
never
a
stop.
Hunter cadres.
You just never stop.
You just never stop.
Even Hunter cadres would be hard to collect like an entire thing. But
What is the Manta? Is that the right vehicle?
like that's like their ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't that have like it has like hammerheads in the Manta?
Yeah.
That's what you need to buy.
So I need another fucking $2,000 model.
Right, exactly. To
All
go
right.
beside the Warlord Titan that you
I'll
have.
start.
Start saving.
No. It's not about saving. It's
Put it on the
about
credit card.
convincing the wife.
No, it's about
Not leave
it's slowly embezzling funds out of the account. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm working on the Necron. Christian's working on his Orc and his Stormcast.
Thunder Warriors.
Whatever. I like the Thunder Warriors. I hate the Stormcast Eternals. Mark's working on his
Sanity.
40 different shelf armies.
Trying to get it sorted out.
Jordan, I know you're not currently working on anything.
I'm working on the podcast.
You're a podcast guy. And we appreciate that.
What if there was something that you wanted to? What would you do?
Like just an army?
Yeah, like if you were like, yeah, there's an army I want to build and I want to paint and I want to play as.
Oh, probably the Eldar.
I think you
Cool.
said that the last time.
Yeah.
We
too.
asked
Yeah.
him that before. I
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah, it's tough
I've
when you
thought
don't
about it
actually care.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I were to start a new army, that's probably the direction I would go.
Yeah. Well,
That was a long one. It's fun though. It's nice to talk about the things you're passionate about.
yeah, like every other podcast gets to. Why don't we
Why
get to
can't
talk?
we?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, guys, to our bonus episode. Hey, what are your ideas, right? Like, what is something you're working on? Just post a picture on our page.
Yeah,
like,
we
to
don't
me,
do
that's
that.
really,
No one
really
does
cool.
that yet.
Yeah.
I want to see stuff.
Post a picture of your works in progress. We had that one guy, and he like lit it up. He had a diorama with those lights. Do you remember that? Or was that a personal message?
I guess that would have been. It wouldn't have been on like our front page. I don't know how Facebook works.
I don't
That's
know
the
either.
problem.
But yeah, send us pictures. Show us what you're working on. Tell us why you think Stormcast Eternals as Thunder Warriors is the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Give Jordan some inspiration from his Eldar. If you have painted Eldar, show it up so maybe he'll go buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Help me launder money.
Right? Help Mark launder money. Anyways, see you later, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
See you later.